Well, hello and welcome once again to Love Has Many Faces here on Alternative Talk 1150. I am your host, Marilyn Milano. And today, this is going to be fun. I have a guest, Kyla Duffy, and she and I spoke about 12 or more years ago. A mutual Facebook and animal loving friend of ours, her name is Marilyn Schaefer Bush, introduced us via Facebook and email and so forth because we had an interest in animals and helping save animals and all of that good kind of fun stuff. And Kyla and I bumped into each other again on Facebook and started talking, and we thought it would be interesting to have her come back. She will be telling us, she's lived in Mexico for the past several years. She now has a 4-year-old daughter and a 5-year-old pup. And we're going to be talking about the different problems that face animal rescuers in Mexico, as opposed to what the issues are here in the US. Just the chance to add some input, maybe for people who are interested in helping, give them some ways to reach out and help. But I'm really excited to hear what this is going to bring. So, a couple of house cleaning things here. Remember, although you can find us on the radio, which is 1150 KKNW, and you can find us on Tuesday mornings, 9 a.m. to 9:30 Pacific time. You can also listen online. But we are now a podcast. And so if you type in Love Has Many Faces podcast in your browser, it'll pull it right up and you'll be able to access several of the shows that we've done. So again, just an easier way to share. We are here to raise awareness, touch hearts, and save the lives of animals. And in doing that, we are helping their people too. So that's what we're about. We'll take a very short pause and come back to talk to Kyla Duffy. I'm Marilyn Milano, your host of Love Has Many Faces on Alternative Talk 1150.
You know that feeling when your dog hears a treat bag from 3 rooms away? But somehow your business is invisible on Google. At SearchHound, your marketing companion, we help businesses get found online so customers don't have to go digging. From SEO to Google business profiles to showing up in AI search results, we help the right people find you right when they're looking. So whether you own a business or you know someone who could use more leads, point them in the right direction. Visit searchhoundseo.com and let's get your business on the set.
Welcome back to the show. Marilyn Milano here on Alternative Talk 1150. This is Love Has Many Faces, and we are excited to welcome our guest, Kyla Duffy. Thank you for joining us.
Hey, Marilyn, it's so great to be talking to you again after so many years.
I know, it's amazing. It's one of those things we say, where did the time go, But where did the time go? But lots has happened since we've been in touch. So do you want to just give a little brief history of your story and how you came to be where you are, and then we'll get on to the specific topic of animal rescue in Mexico, where you are now residing.
Oh my goodness, how do I condense this? Well, it all started with probably a TV commercial where I saw a Boston Terrier. This was probably in 2005, maybe. And I thought having a Boston Terrier would be so fun. They're such fun dogs. It's terrible, right? When the dogs are featured on TV and people want to get one and they don't realize how much work it is. Right. But anyway, I just thought a Boston Terrier would be fun. I knew nothing about rescue or breeders or anything at all. And I said to my boyfriend, then husband after that, I'd like to get a dog. And he said, no. And I said, why don't we foster? And he said, leave me alone. And so I fostered. I went online and I found a Boston Terrier rescue. I didn't even know there was such a thing. I just was looking up Boston Terrier online and I found one. So I offered to foster and I started fostering. And this is going to be a whole long story that I'll cut short by saying, from that point, I fostered 51 Boston Terriers over about 3 years.
51?
51 Boston Terriers.
Oh my gosh. I didn't even know that from back when we talked years ago. I had no idea. That's amazing. Was it hard to let them go?
No, I'm fantastic at it because I'm good at focusing on the things that annoy me.
Okay. And then you were thinking, well, we're getting them to a new home.
Move them along.
Yep. Well, that's
yeah.
weird. I mean, but it's also wonderfully weird. So that's a lot of fostering, but you were doing a great service.
It was, and I ended up keeping the second one because we moved into a new home at that time, and I didn't shut the gate properly, and he got lost in the woods for 3 weeks. And I felt so bad about this situation that I told him I was going to hike him at least 2 hours a day for the rest of his life. And I kind of did. And that dog actually, he was the premise for Don't Kill Bill, which is actually how you and I came together years later, because I was, well, okay. So I had learned so much about dog rescue in the United States by then, and about the puppy mill problem. That's in the United States, there's such a huge problem of overbreeding dogs for sale at malls and flea markets and whatever. And so that spawned all these breed rescues because people, and backyard breeders too, people want a specific breed of dog. And I found that I could do some work. I could publish these books about adopted dogs by breed, so that if someone, for example, like me, looked up Boston Terrier online or on Amazon or whatever, they could find a book about adopted Boston Terriers, about adopted Golden Retrievers, about adopted Cocker Spaniels, and learn that, you can adopt this kind of dog too. You don't necessarily have to get one from a breeder. So Bill became the inspiration for a lot of this work that I did. And then when you and I connected, I was actually doing a theater production. I was very into circusy things. And I was incorporating some of those stories into a timeline of Bill's life with a few aerial acrobatics things. And you had donated some of your music for us to use.
Right. Were those the CDs at the time? I did 2 CDs back in the day.
Yep, it was the Love Has Many Faces CD, actually.
Yep. That had the actual lyrics and so forth. I think I sold a whopping 200 copies. When I did the project, my timing can be impeccable. And I think just about the time CDs were starting to hit the dumpster, and everything was becoming digital, I did a CD project thinking, well, rescues will want to sell these and they can keep most of the profits. Anyway, it worked for a few of them, but I found that if people didn't know me personally, it didn't work as well. But anyway, it was a pleasure to be able to help at whatever level I could.
You know what
And
you did, Marilyn? I don't think you remember this. You actually recorded a custom song. These were the songs that I did aerial acrobatics to in the shows. You recorded custom songs for me about not killing Bill.
that's so weird. I do not remember doing that. My memory is usually pretty good, but of course, it's been many, many years, and I've done a lot of songs. So I'm glad that it was put to good use. It's kind of vaguely starting to creep back now.
I'm going to send you the videos of me doing aerial acrobatics to your music that you made for me.
Oh, I love that. Okay, that's wonderful. So anyway, we did that, and then life had more changes, right?
Yeah, so I actually did join a circus after that. So my dog rescuing, I actually did end up doing a little teeny bit. I was living in Japan for most of the 2010s, working as a flying trapeze artist in a circus. And Bill was right there with me, the dog that kind of inspired all of this. And then when I retired from the circus, the shortest form of this story is that I ended up going to a wedding in San Miguel de Allende in Mexico and bought a condo and have not left. And that was 2019.
Wow. Wow. So, I mean, you're a person who is not afraid to take the leap.
Literally.
Really? I didn't even mean that to be a pun. That's funny. That's
It's
great. So
true.
you're living in Mexico now, and you're no longer with the circus, right?
No, I'm no longer with the circus, although I try to be circusy when I can.
Of course. And you've got a little girl and a husband, and things have changed. But what we were going to talk about and focus on today is the fact that the animal issues and the rescuing and the whole situation for pets and strays is apparently very, very different in Mexico than it is here in the States.
Yes, and I was really excited to connect with you about this because it was so shocking to me. And I just thought people in the US might be interested, especially people involved in rescue, and how different the problems are here. There's not a puppy mill problem here. There's a lot of backyard breeders, but the problem here, and anyone who has gone to any Latin country has probably seen this, but the street dogs. There are street dogs everywhere. And these dogs, One thing that was very interesting that I've learned about them is the natural immunities they get. We see a few with some pretty awful distemper. I see distemper a lot more than parvo, but a lot of them gain these natural immunities, which is great. But there's not enough shelter, and there's not enough food, and there's not, and they just keep reproducing. And the rescuers, and also there's not an infrastructure here like there is in the US for adoption. Pet Finder, Adopt a Pet, these websites,
Right.
I'm not affiliated with them, but they're incredible. They're wonderful tools to be able to go online and sit and look at a catalog of dogs that you could adopt, or cats, or they probably even have rabbits, I don't know. But here, there's no mechanism like that. There's not an adoption culture, and there are copious. I mean, you want a dog, just go outside. I mean, that's the truth of it.
Now, what causes the situation with the street dogs? Because you said there's not a puppy mill problem. Is it just that people don't spay and neuter? They let their dogs run? Is it a cultural thing?
It's funny you asked that because in leading up to this conversation, I was thinking, how can I say this diplomatically? And there's kind of one of the problems, there's many problems, but one of the problems is this traditionally machista culture here. And the
Right.
men really feel like they don't want to neuter males. And so
Okay.
it is an uphill battle educating men here about how simple a process it is to neuter the male and how it's not going to take away his manhood,
No, no.
and how it's actually good for the dog, in a lot of
Yeah.
cases.
Health wise, yes, it can save their lives. It can add 2, 3, 4 years to their lives or more.
But it's fine to spay the females. We can spay the females all day long, but it's harder to spay a female, like that's a more complicated surgery. And
Yeah.
the other thing is that's really interesting. There are many, many wonderful people here that are trying to solve this problem. And we wouldn't, many people in the United States would never think to do this with a dog. For some reason, it's fine with cats. But here, the kind of trap, neuter, release idea, trap, sterilize, release, whatever you want to say,
Right.
is something we do with dogs too, because there's just not enough households for all of these dogs. And the complication comes in with, well, we have these wonderful spay and neuter campaigns here, but then somebody's got to take care of this dog for a few days to make sure they're okay after their surgery before they're put back on the street. You know what I mean? It's
Right.
pretty complicated.
Right. Oh my gosh. So, what would you say in a nutshell is the biggest? I mean, obviously, it's street dogs, too many dogs, not enough places, and no infrastructure. What would you summarize the problem as in just a sentence or two? And do you have ideas for how people can help? I mean, especially people, I'm assuming most of the people listening to my program are probably here in the States, but is there a website? You said there's not an infrastructure, but where can people go to learn more or to try to help in some way if they want to?
Yes, that is a great question. The problem here is that rescue is so decentralized. It's just local people who have a big heart for dogs that are trying to be helpful. There are some official rescues and shelters in different areas of Mexico, but not like, I don't know. There's not an easy source to go to. I can't send you to Pet Finder, like I said, to like get a dog. But there are, for example, here in San Miguel, we have Lucky Dogs Rescue. We have a wonderful woman named Jessica Princess P. You can find her on Facebook. And she does rescue and has a lot of dogs. And there's a Flight Angels program where people will prepare these dogs and pay for these dogs even to get up to the US if we can get them into shelters in the US. So actually, I don't know if there's any individuals that work with rescue organizations that listen to this recording, but we need partners to get the dogs from San Miguel, from other parts of Mexico, up into the US where they're more likely to be adopted.
Okay, and if somebody is listening or wants to know more, I mean, who should they reach out to?
That's a great question. I guess they should reach out to me.
Okay, what's the best way for them to find you? Is that on Facebook or?
Yeah, they can find me on Facebook, Kyla Duffy. They can also find me through, I guess that's probably the best way. I can share, do you share links with your podcast? Can I share some links or?
Yeah, go ahead and share a link and I can put it in the paragraph. We have an intro paragraph for each podcast, and I can certainly put a couple of links in that intro paragraph.
Excellent. I'll send you some links where people can find people to help down here. It, like I said, Marilyn, I wish I would have compiled something better before we met because it's so decentralized. But if someone does, the best thing is if people reach out to me because I'm happy to connect them with people that have dogs. And in fact, I have a dog right now that needs a new home. And I would love to find that dog a new home through this podcast.
Oh, now is this your dog or a foster you've got?
No, no, my dog and my daughter are inseparable, and we very much are good on that. But what happens is about once every quarter, people joke that I have seasonal dogs because it seems like every season I get a new dog. For me, what I do when I'm driving down the street, if a dog looks healthy, I don't touch them because generally, if a dog looks healthy, somebody is feeding them and maybe even has sterilized them or is vaccinating them. But if a dog looks healthy, they have someone looking after them. If a dog doesn't look healthy, if a dog is starving, which was the case of this dog that I just picked up the other day, or is ill, one day I picked one up that looked like it was dead. It had ants crawling on it. And I picked him up and I took him to the vet, and we found out it was just gastrointestinal distress. It was a puppy, and
Oh,
Lucky Dogs was actually able to help me find him a home. But this dog that I picked up the other day, we called her Connie. If you speak Spanish, you might know the word inconveniente. Inconvenient. It was a very inconvenient thing to do to pick this dog up.
right.
But because I was driving home from a restaurant with my daughter, my dog, and a friend in the car. And this dog was starving on the side of the road. So I pulled over, I fed her. She was huge. She should be probably a 65-pound dog. And she was probably, I don't know, 45 pounds, 50 maybe.
Oh,
But she was so happy to see me. She wagged her tail and she was so sweet that I said, you know what? I'm going to get this dog some help. So I shoved her into the car. She did not want to be in my car. So she climbed over the seat. My daughter's sitting there yelling at me, Mommy, I don't like this dog. My friend is now speechless. She does not know what's going on. She's holding my dog. Luckily, Dolly didn't react, my dog. But I was able to drop my friend off, get my daughter home. Of course, we're three-quarters of the way home, and my daughter says, Mommy, I have to pee. Oh my gosh. So I've got this dog in the car, covered in fleas and ticks. I've got my kid, I've got my dog. I get home. I rush my kid up to, we're on the third floor apartment. So I rush my kid up to the apartment, stick her in front of the TV, scream at the downstairs neighbor that I need help and can she go see my daughter? And was able to get this dog into a foster home that I have that helps me, and get the vet over there. Luckily, the vets here are wonderful and they will actually go to your house and deal with whatever your problem is. So I was able to get the vet over there, deal with the dog's fleas and ticks, get her vaccinated, get her tested for all the tick-borne illnesses and everything. Good news, she's doing great. She turns out she was spayed already. How sad is that, Marilyn? She was someone's dog at some point, and they just threw her out in the street.
I just do not understand that. I never will. Certainly, we have plenty of people in the US that don't treat their animals right either. Like you said, you have less of an infrastructure there. We have an infrastructure, but I don't think it's ever going to be big enough to keep up with the awful elements of humanity that just seem to devolve by the week. But great that you have helped this pup. And did you give her a name?
I did. I named her Inconveniente,
Oh,
Connie for
that's her name.
short.
That was her name. Okay. Somehow, um,
And
I didn't
even
put two together.
funnier though, my neighbor had a daughter that same day. She had a baby and it turned out to be a girl. And I was talking to a friend about this dog and also about the daughter at the same time. And the friend thought that the neighbor named her daughter Inconveniente.
Oh my gosh. I wonder, I hope that doesn't have any long-lasting effects on the person's self-esteem. It's like, what's
It
your name?
was
Oh, my name
no,
is.
no, she didn't name her daughter Inconveniente, but I did name the dog Inconveniente. And I don't think that it's going to bother her self-esteem.
Okay, okay. No, as long as they're petted, fed, and well loved, it's all good. So again, it's a different sort of problem, but it sounds like the vets there might be doing a little better job than some of ours. Costs here have gotten so high, and we have people that are abandoning their animals because they can't afford to care for them. We had quite the uptick in adoptions during COVID. And then we had people that went back to work and they're like, oh, well, I can't afford daycare and I don't know, I don't need the company anymore. And I'm thinking, as a person who has, breathed and lived dog since I could stand up and walk around, how do people do this? But then our problem is not so much that we want to ask why and get answers. We need to figure out what to do now with these animals that need us.
Well, yeah, I approach that idea from an empathetic perspective. I think the question is, well, I think it's important to consider that these people are probably suffering and grieving and probably didn't want to get rid of their pet, you know.
Right.
A lot of people can't afford to eat themselves these days. And I'm feeling it with this Connie, this dog I picked up. You know, my Boston Terrier is 15 pounds, so she eats a very small amount of food every day, like a half a cup. This dog, 65 pounds, has already gone through a 10-kilogram bag of dog food in 2 weeks, you know, so that's like
Yes.
$80 in 2 weeks. And
Yes.
down here, I mean, I'm responsible to take care of this dog. There's no rescue that's helping. I'm doing
Right.
it.
Right.
I've paid the vet bills, you know, and that's what you do as a rescuer down here. You just do what you can. I
Right.
don't like to see suffering, so I do what I can. But the vets here are far more affordable, and I got to tell you, this vet Angel, he is an angel. His name is Angel, and he's an angel. There was a dog I picked up last year. She was on this very rowdy street corner that is not safe for gringos to go, but I happened to be passing through. And the other dogs were not letting her eat, and she was old, and I could see that she had a broken hip.
Oh,
And I said to Angel, I said, will you help me with this dog? He said, yes. And he went over there and he called me. He said, Kyla, don't go back there. He said, I will deal with this. Do not go back there. That is not a safe place. So, and I want to put a caveat there. I feel very safe living in Mexico. A lot of people ask me that question. Do I feel safe? I feel far safer living in Mexico than I do in the United States. But you have to live by big city rules. There's neighborhoods you don't go to, you know? And luckily, he was willing to go to that neighborhood. He had to go back 4 times to negotiate with the people who lived there because as soon as someone wants to take the dog away, then it's their dog, right? When it's time to feed the dog, it's not their dog. But when it's time
right.
to take the dog away, then it's their dog.
Right.
So he had to go negotiate and he got her. And we took her and we gave her the care that we could and we got her into hospice foster care. And she lived 2 very good months in a loving household before she died from cancer. But at least she got fed and loved.
Oh, yeah. And I mean, like you said, heck, there are places in the US that you're not going to go into those neighborhoods either, right? I mean, that's pretty much in every city. Plenty of those places in Seattle, let me tell you.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's really good to have allies, people that we know can go into places maybe we can't, either the infrastructure, the people that you network with just on that casual basis where you've got a good vet you can work with. The main thing is there are people with good hearts who are trying to help animals. And again, for folks who have been listening or maybe just tuned in, I've been talking with Kyla Duffy. She now resides in Mexico with her family and different issues down there. But you can find Kyla on her Facebook page. Her name is Kyla Duffy, Kyla, sorry, Kyla Duffy, Duffy. And if you are interested in helping get dogs out of there, maybe you are connected with the rescue or one of the fly out groups that helps fly dogs to safety, please reach out to Kyla and she can connect you. And we will put some links in the podcast paragraph as well so that people can help. I cannot believe we are almost out of time. I say this pretty much on every show because it goes quickly when we're talking about interesting things that matter to pets and their people. But Kyla, any last quick words before we sign off?
Yeah, I'd love to encourage people to adopt a street dog from Mexico. These dogs are wonderful. They come in potty trained because these dogs don't want to pee and poop where they're fed. So almost every single one I've taken into my home, including pit bulls, including German Shepherd mixes, whatever, they've been loving, they've been sweet, and they've been almost potty trained right from the get-go. So I don't think it's fair to characterize them as difficult dogs. They're not. As a generalization, they're wonderful and we need help down here. So if you're thinking to adopt or rescue and you are a little bit adventurous, reach out to me. I would love to connect you with some of the people down here who are rescuing dogs.
I think that's wonderful. It's a global situation and we are a global community anymore. So, different things touch different people's hearts. If this has spoken to you, please find Kyla Duffy on her Facebook page and reach out, and maybe there will be just the exact opportunity where you can use your talent and go where your heart leads you. So, we'll take a short pause and come right back. I am Marilyn Milano, your host. You've been listening to Love Has Many Faces here on Alternative Talk 1150. Hi, this is Marilyn Milano, your host of Love Has Many Faces. The music that you're hearing during this show every week is exclusively original music from my own CDs. If you're enjoying it and would like to order a copy of one of my 2 CDs for yourself or as a gift, just go to marilynmilano.net and you can order directly from the website. I give a portion of every sale back to Animal Rescue because that's part of the whole cause. Thank you for listening and thanks for your support.
This is Martha Norwalk. Every Sunday morning, beginning at 9 a.m., thanks in part to NewProSupplements.com, we cover the world of animals. This week, August 23rd, it's an extra Sunday edition of Animal World, and I'm so excited because we get to spend it with one of my all-time favorite Animal World heroes. Dr. Jeff, Rocky Mountain Vet, will be with us live, and we'll get to know him and hear all about his incredible life of service to animals. Martha Norwalk's Animal World, Sunday morning, 9 a.m. to noon, right here on Alternative Talk AM 1150.
Don't let that herd mentality lead you off a cliff. We support thinking for yourself on Alternative Talk 1150.
Welcome back to Love Has Many Faces. I am your host, Marilyn Milano, and I hope that you found that as interesting as I did. We talked with Kyla Duffy, an animal aficionado now living in Mexico, speaking about some of the special situations that are faced in Mexico with street dogs, stray dogs, and we definitely need help getting some of them up here. There are people helping them. They just need a place to go. So if you're listening and you know of a rescue or a transportation organization, please reach out to Kyla Duffy, Kyla Duffy. You can find her on Facebook. Anyhow, it's time for us to sign off. So until next week, you've been listening to Love Has Many Faces. I'm your host, Marilyn Milano. Have a wonderful week, and we'll see you again soon.